Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE. Written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. I'm your host Tom Howe and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news contents that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's show, we join Watch Manager Andy Brier and firefighter Nathan from St Austell Community Fire Station to discuss how they help keep the town safe, with advice on flooding and home fire safety checks, as well as Nathan's recent recognition for his work with a local memory café. We check in with Church Elder Esther Baker from White River Community Church in St Austell, who tells us about their recent Christmas Hamper campaign, their Christmas Fantasia concerts, and the festive events and year-round support they offer the community. As well as that, we take a trip to Cornwall Community Foundation to meet Development Director Tamara Sherston-Baker and explore their Surviving Winter appeal, learning how it supports people across Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly facing fuel poverty and rising winter costs. We hear from Father Christmas himself, who answers children's questions about how he gets into modern, security-conscious homes, and to reassure families worried that smart locks, alarms and doorbell cameras might stop him in his tracks. And we welcome Jason Suckley, Chief Executive at Make-A-Wish UK, to discuss new research on Christmas generosity and to explain how the wishes they grant brings hope and joy to children and their families this festive season. Plus, Falmouth University students Katie Windsor and Tia Bodie are here to share their thoughts on the Hall for Cornwall's latest festive production, Aladdin, which is packed with laughs, pasties and even a touch of twerking.
NEWSWAVE.
But first this week, each month we catch up with our local community fire station to hear how they make St Austell safe for all to live, work and visit. Watch Manager Andy Brier not only shared advice on flooding and home care safety checks, but was joined by firefighter Nathan, who has recently been recognised for his hard work and collaboration with their local memory cafe.
NEWSWAVE.
So yeah, we've had some pretty extreme weather at the moment. Last week was horrendous. If you couple that with a high tide, with the spring tide, we've got the water coming in, they've got the water coming off the hills, it can't get out to sea, it's pushing the water back up as well. So certainly in coastal areas, we do have the flood alert and the warnings come out. So at St Austell, we are one of 4 water rescue stations in Cornwall Fire and Rescue. Because of our location, obviously we're pretty central for the county. So we do have the water rescue units here. So we are water rescue technicians. Any kind of incident involving any kind of water, inland water, we will be there. Coastal stuff, it's more for the Coast Guard and RLNI. But yeah, the rest of that is mainly for us. So the main advice we would give is keep in touch on social media in terms of watching for updates, watching for alerts. Cornwall Council put them out. I'm sure they work with you guys at the radio to get them out where we've got weather warnings issued. Keep abreast of those so that we know that something's coming. And then it's more about making sure your home is prepared for it, making sure your drains are clear of leaves, especially this time of year. It might sound like a really minor and petty thing, and you might think, it's someone else's job. But if you can keep the drain outside your house clear of leaves, it can take you 2 minutes. It will allow that water runoff that we do get when the ground is saturated to get into the drain, to get away from your house. We do tip out now and again to houses that have been flooded. They're not necessarily an emergency, but to the residents of that house, it is a really big deal. And the aftermath, the cleanup, the mess that a flood leaves is pretty horrible. And again, the other advice we would give is if you're out in your car and there is any kind of body of water across the road, across where you need to drive, just don't go into it. Even if you think, it only gets a couple of inches deep, you don't know what's going on under there. You don't know if some sort of service cover, some manhole cover that's lifted off when the water's come through, it's moved it, you drop down that with your car, you're going to have a big old bill. And if you're walking through water, you can disappear down that. And it does happen. So we have obviously what we call wading poles. We will not go into floodwater without our wading poles, so we are checking in front of us all the time, and that's part of us keeping ourselves safe. But in terms of the public keeping themselves safe, stay away from any kind of floodwater. Make sure you're at home prepared by clearing drains anywhere where you know the water's going to run off, and then keeping in touch, obviously Chaos Radio, the council website, government websites, knowing what's coming. Pre-warned is pre-armed, isn't it? So if we know it's coming, we can do these little things, then we're going to stay ahead of it. But if you do get in trouble, don't hesitate to call 999. Speak to our control. They would give you advice as well.
A year-round campaign you have is home safety checks, and why is it important that people do this with vulnerable relatives and friends and neighbours to complete this task?
Yeah, the massive thing since I've moved to Cornwall, obviously people know from my accent I'm not a native, but moving down to this part of the world is the sense of community. It is massive. It's not like this in different parts of the country. You know, we do have something pretty special down here. So it's about looking after your friends and family. And if you've got a vulnerable neighbour who you think, you know, have they got a smoke alarm, or can they test it, or would they be able to get out if there's a fire at their house? You know, just maybe knocking on or having a little chat when you're out on the, you know, out and about on the street with them. Ask them if they've got these things. Ask them if they need any help. And then if there are any issues, point them towards us, or, you know, you can fill out that form for them, go on our website. You know, it's a free service. We come out, we're not being nosy. All we're interested in is people's safety. So we will give you as much advice or as little advice as you want. We will test your smoke alarms. If you need smoke alarms, we'll put them up for you free of charge. We'll fit your carbon monoxide detectors. We'll give you a little bit of advice about keeping safe in the home. And again, this time of year, it's really important we test our smoke alarms because, you know, we're lighting our wood burners now pretty much every day. It's got pretty cold. We've got our boilers on. So all these things that might have been off for a while are now kicking in. You know, do we know that we've not had some birds nesting in our chimney during the summer? Well, you know it when your chimney sets on fire. So, you know, we advise people get their chimneys swept, you know, with a certified company, certified person, and then just keeping on top of all these little bits, checking your smoke alarm once a week, making sure your exits, the way you would get out of a building if there was a fire, going out the door that you came into. If all these things are clear, you've got your keys on your exit routes. If all these things have been done without knowing it, you are massively increasing your chances of getting out if there was a fire, and in the first place, reducing the risk of anything happening. They are very rare because people, you know, things have improved and people are listening to us. But there's little things that we can all do by just thinking about how we live, where we put things. Do we turn things off when we finish with them? All these little things all count towards us being able to prevent these things happening. You know, you can save your friends and your neighbours' lives by helping out as well.
Nathan, tell us a little bit about yourself to start with in respect of the job.
So I was on call at Tolvaden for about 15 years and then eventually got into whole time, and I've landed at St Austell, which I thoroughly enjoy. Since I've been at St Austell, now got into contact with the memory café at St Austell. For Greenwatch, we've been working alongside people with dementia and that support them with fire safety advice. We're now launching fire safety initiative for snack vans. The cooker is on, it's called. This will hopefully remind them that the cooker is on and hopefully lower the risk of fire in their homes. But that's going to be launched hopefully service-wise in the next couple of months. So when we do our home fire safety checks, if we're coming across people with dementia, we can refer them to the memory café St Austell. That's Cornwall wide as well. So they've all got different places like Redruth, Camborne, St Austell, Lostwithiel. They're all places all over Cornwall.
So Nathan's been really humble here. So we do lots of community work, and as Watch Manager on the Watch, the firefighters have their references as to the things that they, you know, that's their thing that they concentrate on a little bit, is their reference on the watch. Nathan's gone above and beyond. So we started working with the memory cafe down at Homebush.
Yeah.
Is it Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we made that first visit, and then Nathan kind of saw an opportunity to help instead of what lots of us do, or lots of people do. All right, we've done it. We've ticked that box. We've been down there. We've spent an hour with them, had a nice afternoon, had a cup of tea and a cake. Nathan came to me and went, "Do you know what? I've seen an opportunity here where we can make a real difference." So instead of that being the end of the conversation, off his own back. He working with Pat, who runs the cafe, and she does an amazing job, by the way, down there. Absolutely unbelievable amount of work she puts in for her community. Yeah, Nathan arranged a day, an afternoon for them to come to station, and then him and his wife must have spent the whole weekend baking treats. And you should have seen the table. I mean, you might have seen it on Facebook. We did post it. That like the table was creaking under the amount of scones and cakes and buns and teas and coffees and everything we did. And we put this day on for them. Gave them a tour of the station, didn't we? We did a bit of a quiz.
Yeah, quiz.
You know, and we just had some fun and sat down with them and spoke with them. And I suppose having dementia or being a carer for someone with dementia, it can be quite a lonely place, especially, you know, for that carer. So for them to come in with us, and it's happened twice now they've been in. We've got another one booked to come in the new year. And the fun we have with them, now we've built these relationships, it is unbelievable. And as his watch manager, Nate's very humble, doesn't want to fuss. So behind his back, we did nominate him for this award. And it is quite a prestigious award. It's the Chief Fire Officer's Appreciation Award. So our Chief Fire Officer's a lady called Kath Billing. So last week or week before?
Last week, I think.
Yeah, last week we were down at New County Hall in the main council chamber. Me and Matt, crew manager, we went down and supported him. And Nath was there with his wife, and he received the award from the Chief Fire Officer for basically outstanding work, going above and beyond to serve his community. And he don't even live here, but he's doing all this work. But like he said, because of the initiative that he's now running with the snap bans for when people are cooking, you know, this is going to go county-wide for a start, and then, you know, and onwards. We don't know. Depends how far he wants to run with it. Yeah. It's great as well, because he's also going for promotion, so it looks really good when he does his interview.
This is brilliant. That there needs to be more that surrounds looking at trying to make things better and safer for people with dementia, and I think that's an incredible idea that you've come up with, and it'd be intriguing to see how much feedback you get from people as to how well it's worked. I mean, they may come in and say to you, "Do you know, I put this on every time now. It makes a difference." So well done to you. It's brilliant.
That's what hopefully we're going to be doing, getting feedback from the people that matter. And hopefully it will be rolled out county-wide, as Andy said. Finally,
is there any other current campaigns or future events you'd like to promote to us before we leave you?
I'm going to leave you with a bit of a teaser, really, more for for next year, 2026. We've got some big things planned on this watch. We've got something big next year, but I'm not going to talk about that yet because there's still a lot of groundwork to do. But if it all comes off and all comes to fruition, then I would say everyone in St Austell is going to know about it. So, we'll leave it at that for now. But we've got a lot of work to do before that. But that'll be next year.
You're dropping the mic and you're running, aren't you?
It is a mic drop moment, and it will be big. I'm confident it's going to happen. And when it does, everyone's going to know. And it will do a lot of good for the community as well.
NEWSWAVE.
Now, White River Community Church in St Austell is fully into the festive swing following their successful Christmas Hamper campaign and their Christmas Fantasia concerts. Here to tell us more about what they've been up to, upcoming festive events and the support they offer year-round is Church Elder Esther Baker.
NEWSWAVE.
The shoe hampers are an annual event, obviously, for many places, and ourselves included. And we have a wonderful lady who's been with us for, 40, 50 years maybe. And she's taken it upon herself to do these shoe boxes and organise that collection. And we get the shoe boxes now. I mean, years ago, we used to save all our shoe boxes when we went to the shoe shop and cover them all with wrapping paper. And many people will remember doing that, which many people still do. But to make the process a lot easier for people, shoe boxes can be flat packed, and we buy them in and give them out to our community groups and our church congregation. So they take them away, fill them up with goodies, and they get posted around the world to war-torn countries, places where children will not be getting gifts, that aren't even thinking about Christmas at all. It's more where we're going to get our next meal, where we're going to live. You know, they're in fear of violence. So it brings a little bit of joy for each child that receives these boxes. And it is such a wonderful thing to do. And we collected, I think, 60 boxes this year. And they've gone now. They got sent off earlier in November. And so we really love doing that. And Frances is our coordinator of that, and she arranges for them all to be collected and picked up and shipped off. Just a small thing, but it really makes a huge difference to the children that receive those boxes. And of course, we have a family centre here at White River, and we run toddler groups throughout the week, and that's something that those parents and children really enjoy to do, is to fill those shoe boxes and send them off. And it feels like, they're actually contributing and taking part in that as well. And it's a great activity for children to do, to feel that they're giving something back. It was great that we collected so many, and of course all over the southwest, churches and community centres, schools are all doing the same thing. So many boxes go from all over the world to these places where children don't have anything. It's a brilliant thing to do.
Now, staying on the Christmas theme, you have also got Christmas Fantasia concert coming up in December. What can people expect from this event then? Because you're obviously you're full on swing into it at the moment, like you've already told me.
It's a real highlight for our calendar, is the Christmas Fantasia. And what it is, it's a music concert. It's a real eclectic mix of different genres of music. We have the privilege of having our young people perform for the first time this year as well, which is really exciting. We have a lot of young musicians, and it's great to see them come on in their musical talent. So we're showcasing some of them this year. And we've got things from brass to saxophone solos, vocal solos, duets, ensembles, and we've got jazz, guitar solos, such a mix, such a variety. Opera, there's a real bit for everybody. So if you think, oh, well, I'm not into music, there's probably something in there for everybody to enjoy. And it's a charity concert as well. So people, when they attend or they buy their ticket, which is £5 per person, that's includes in that ticket a free raffle ticket for our bumper Christmas hamper. And when I say bumper Christmas hamper, they are huge. They are enormous. They're really, really great prizes to win. That includes a free ticket for that draw, plus some mulled wine and a sweet treat, all included in that £5. So it's a great evening, and you are supporting the local charities. The two charities that we're supporting are the ARC Coffee Shop, and ARC stands for Acts of Random Kindness, and that does a pay it forward scheme. So that's a scheme where people either give money or they buy a meal in advance, and that gets given to anyone that might be in need, that needs a hot meal, that might be a family that's struggling, or a single person that's struggling. It's given to those people. And see, we do loads of things other than just the coffee shop. It's a warm space for people to meet, and loads of different groups use that space. And there's lovely homemade cakes. It's just a nightmare having my office right above the coffee shop, because it's you can just smell the cakes being baked, and it's oh no. It really is very tempting to go and buy them. So all the things are made on site. And then we have the family centre next door, which I manage, and is run by a team of volunteers. And again, all preschool children and families can enjoy a space where they feel safe, where there's lots of lovely toys and activities for kids. And of course, people can meet other parents, which is a really good parent-to-parent support when you've got little ones.
So finally, how can people get more involved with the support of White River Community Church all year round?
Obviously, they can check out the website. We update the website all the time with what's on and what's happening. Certainly, key times during the year, we do a little bit more, one being Christmas, Easter. The family centre, obviously, all of the information is on the website there as well. We rent rooms out for various local businesses. We do have rooms here. So that all of that sort of thing goes towards supporting us and the church. We're here, obviously, every Sunday. I'm the musician here, and I lead the worship team on Sunday mornings as our normal times of worship for Sunday morning services. That's 10:30, and they're there. They happen every weekend, obviously, 10:30 till about 12. There's also a kids zone that runs on a Sunday. So if parents want to come along to a normal Sunday morning service and they've got children, then great, send them into Kids Zone where they'll have fun. We've got some up and coming events as well. We have a group called Count Everyone In, and that's for adults with learning disability. So if you feel that you want to bring someone to a service that might be a bit overwhelming, a normal church service, there's loud music, there's lots of people, and that can be quite daunting and overwhelming for a lot of people. We have the Count Everyone In services that are held here monthly Sunday, and they're held in the afternoons at 3 p.m. and that's tailored specifically for adults with additional needs, and they are great services to come to. Or it might be that you think, it's just too overwhelming going in on Sunday morning, and you yourself think, I want something a little bit more low-key. I'll come along to the Sunday afternoon one. Of course, the annual children's nativity is going on, and we're doing a scratch nativity, which is absolutely brilliant. Anyone with children and families, or not, you don't have to come just because you've got children, you can come along anyway, but specifically the nativity is really for the kids to take part. And we do our scratch nativity, which is exactly what it says on the tin. It is from scratch. So they come along dressed as any nativity character, and they join in as the nativity story is being narrated from the front. They come in at their part. So who knows, we could have 10 Marys turn up, but that's fine. We could have 20 camels, or whatever they want to dress as, they come up as their part is narrated. And it's such a really nice time for families, and we share mince pies and teas and coffees afterwards. And in the evening we have our candlelight service, so that's all on the 21st, the nativity, and in the evening is the Christingle, and again a real lovely candlelight time for families and kids where they make their Christingles. And it's just, you just start to get into that Christmassy feel, heading right towards the 25th, where we have, again, a morning service on Christmas Day for those that want to come. Check out the website. There's so much that we do here. It's amazing, really. I'm really privileged to be part of it.
NEWSWAVE.
Each winter, people in communities across Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly face bleak and challenging times, with the burden of additional heating costs and the choice between sufficient meals or heating their homes. With fuel poverty affecting over 40,000 homes and 1 in 3 children in Cornwall living in poverty, the Cornwall Community Foundation's Surviving Winter Appeal will see them work with hundreds of community groups to distribute grants to support those who need it most. Here to tell us more is Tamara Sherston-Baker, the Development Director at the Cornwall Community Foundation.
NEWSWAVE.
We've been going for over 20 years now, and we're one of the biggest grant distributors across Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. Surviving Winter is a campaign that has been running since 2012, distributed almost £300,000 worth of grants now. And essentially it's just a recognition that times are really tough for people at the moment, but winter is especially tough. And I think particularly when you look at Cornwall, it's even tougher. So winter is a really tough time in Cornwall for lots of people, and you add rural isolation into that, you add quite a lot of old housing stock. I mean, half of the homes in Cornwall aren't connected to mains gas. Double the amount of houses in Cornwall compared to the rest of the UK have no central heating. We've got the seasonal employment situation as well. So we're really, really seeing that lots and lots of families are struggling, particularly over the winter. So Surviving Winter is where we ask people to donate to the campaign, and then we work with trusted organisations across the Duchy who then distribute that funding to families and individuals in small grants, normally between £50 to £200.
Isolation and connection and, even being warm are big things that people are struggling with.
Yeah, absolutely. So we every year work with the University of Exeter to produce a report called Vital Signs, and that basically measures how Cornwall is performing against the rest of the UK in certain measures. And those are the things that we do find, housing, unemployment, short contract employment is really impacting people. Across 2024 and 25, 35,500 emergency food parcels were distributed. And those are just the ones that we know about. 40,000 families are on a negative budget. 1 in 3 children in Cornwall is living in poverty, and that rises to 42% in some wards. So those types of things, ongoing and sustained, they're having a really serious toll on people's mental and physical health. And that's why this campaign is so important.
How widespread is fuel poverty in Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly? What impact does it have on families and individuals?
Well, as I said, a lot of homes are rural. They're not heated well. They're very low energy efficiency ratings. And so people are having very, very real decisions to make between, well, do we switch the heating on today or do we give the kids dinner? And, in this day and age, no one should be facing those kinds of decisions. The number of kids that we've got on free school meals, and for some of those kids, that might be the only decent hot meal they get in the day. So yeah, it's a real issue, and all those issues kind of just compound each other to make it into quite a kind of crisis time for a lot of our families in Cornwall.
How does the foundation work with community groups to ensure that donations reach those that mostly need it?
For most campaigns that we run, we give a grant to an organisation and they use that grant for the project work that they're doing or for bigger things that they need to do to keep their project running. For this grant in particular, what we do is give the grant to the community group and we allow them to distribute the grant, because in general we don't give out grants to individuals. So this way it really allows them to get those relatively small amounts of money out to families, and they are really experienced, all of the groups that we work with, so they know these families, they know the issues, they know what's going to help. And there's various ways in which they support those families. So as I said, it's normally £50 to £200 per household. And the main ways that they use that is to help with food. So that could be supermarket vouchers, food parcels, or sometimes just providing hot meals. Energy and water. So that is helping with bills for heating, cooking, lighting. And then they also sometimes will give out wider essentials. If a family needs some clothing or bedding, or an individual wants some help with some energy efficient measures, then they'll also support with that. So it's really just anything that is just going to tide people over, and really it's about preventing crisis from becoming emergency.
Can you share any stories of how surviving winter appeal has made a difference in someone's life?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the grants that we distribute, we always do an impact report after, so we can really measure how they've worked, what we could maybe do better next time, and where the impact really is and what we should be doing more of. So yeah, a few that spring to mind. There was an individual last year with 2 young children, and she had to leave a physically and emotionally violent relationship, an abusive situation, and flee with her 2 kids, and didn't really have anything. And so that group was able to not only support her to get into emergency accommodation, but to provide some of those basics to just help her to get back on her feet, and she had the kids, and to just get warm winter coats for them, and bits and pieces like that to just tide her over and kind of make things manageable. Lots of situations where people, a lot of it is actually in work poverty, and people who just can't make their wages stretch to everything. And so it could be at the end of the month, they just need £70 to put on the gas meter to just keep the house warm, or they get to the end of the month and the cupboards are bare, and they can get a food parcel from the food bank just to keep them going. So it's just little things like that, is trying to help people keep their dignity and just make it through those situations.
And it must be really rewarding to see that you're able to support people to make a difference, because, Cornwall is a tight-knit community, isn't it, really? And hopefully most of the time people look out for each other. So seeing that you're making a difference, especially that lady who had to flee and probably didn't have much stuff with her to have the things that she did need, that's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, Absolutely. And, I talked about a lot of the issues that we're facing in Cornwall, but as you said, it's an amazing place, and that's one of the most rewarding parts of our job. Is as a county, we massively over-index on volunteering and people doing that charity work. And when you get to work with these groups and you see these people that are giving all of their time and their passion and their energy to just help those in their community, it is incredible to see. And they're lifting up those in their community that really need it.
How can people get involved, make a donation or show support for this year's appeal?
So we're extremely lucky that we work with Cornwall Council on this appeal every year. So they have put up over 100,000 to distribute, which is amazing, and we're so grateful for that. But people can get involved and give donations via our website. So it's just cornwallcommunityfoundation.com, or they can find us at Cornwall Foundation on socials. They can see some of our impact and our stories of change, and donate there. And as I said, some of these grants are what we would think of as relatively small amounts. So it really is a case of every little helps. Whatever you can give, it's going direct to someone that really, really needs support.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, you're listening to NEWSWAVE here on Chaos Radio with me, Tom Howe. Children are asking tougher questions than ever about how Father Christmas can get into modern-day homes. New research from British Gas shows that a third of parents say their young children worry about their home having security systems such as smart locks, alarms and doorbell cameras in case they stop Father Christmas in his tracks. Here at Chaos, we thought who better is there to answer these questions than Santa Claus himself. And we're pleased to say he agreed to take some time out of his busy Christmas schedule to chat to me and allay some of the concerns.
NEWSWAVE.
Well, hello, is that Tom?
Good afternoon, Santa. How are you?
It's so lovely to speak to you. How are you, sir?
I am very, very well. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been a fan of yours since I was very small.
Oh, I remember you so well, and I'm pleased to tell you that you are on the nice list this year.
Oh, excellent.
Shame about the previous 15 years, but never mind.
Yes, thank you, Santa. Look, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to us here at Chaos.
Why, it's a joy to speak to you all, and to all your listeners as well.
Now, Santa, we're hearing, aren't we, that kids across the UK have been asking one big question this year, and that is, how does Santa get into our homes to deliver presents? And that's led to some new research by British Gas. What do the results tell us?
Well, yes, indeed. Indeed, lots of children are worried that I won't be able to get into their home because, you see, a lot of homes, especially modern homes nowadays, don't have a chimney. You see, chimney is just one way that I can enter your home. Can I let you in on a little secret, Tom?
Oh, yeah, please do.
All right. This is a worldwide exclusive just for you and your listeners, all right? Many, many centuries ago, the elves created a strange, magical key. This key can unlock any lock in the entire world, providing the lock belongs to a home that is full of Christmas spirit and a home which welcomes Santa. Now, this lock can unlock any door or window, which means if you haven't got a chimney, I can use my special magical key to get inside the home. And then, of course, there's always plan C. I can just come down the extractor fan.
And that helps you get past alarms and cameras undetected as well?
Well, here's the thing with that. You see, Santa is infused with a wonderful kind of Christmas magic. The elves developed this Christmas magic a long, long time ago. And one of the things that happens from it is that every time I go into a home, it will bypass any burglar alarm, no matter how advanced, or any security detection kit that might be there. And I assure you, it will not go off. It doesn't actually deactivate them. It just simply doesn't pick up on Santa. You see, I work very, very quickly, sometimes quicker than the speed of light itself. And no security detection system or burglar alarm is quick enough to catch me on Christmas Eve.
Oh, well, Santa, thank you for the lengths that you and the elves are going to keep the spirits and the magic of Christmas alive. Parents are also going to great lengths, aren't they, to keep the magic going. What are some of the more common or creative things that you've heard from parents?
Yes, you see, I have lots of helpers all over the world. You see, it's not just the elves in the North Pole that help me, but also parents and all sorts of people from different walks of life. You mentioned British Gas earlier. Did you know that British Gas have their own special service of same-day Santa helpers? British Gas can not only fix your boiler and all the other problems, but they can send one of my Santa helpers to your home, providing you call before 11 o'clock, and a Santa can come and visit your family and reassure your children that everything will be well for Christmas. You must always remember, of course, the true magic of Christmas can't be found inside a gift box or a toy store. The true magic of Christmas lies within each and every one of us. And if we choose to open our hearts at Christmas time, that special magic will come out from all of us. It will lift everyone up around you and will make the world a more wonderful and magical place at Christmas time.
It is absolutely the most wonderful time of year. Was there anything else in the research that particularly stuck out to you? Any kind of remarks or comments from young people? They often say the strangest things.
They do indeed, but please don't worry about anything. Santa, his helpers and the elves have it all under control. Now, if you are worried that you're on the naughty list this year, and some of you are, I'm afraid, the majority of you are very much on the nice list, but for the ones that have been a little bit naughty, all you have to do is just try and improve and try and be on your best behaviour between now and Christmas. There's still plenty of time for everyone to go across to the nice list, not just at Christmas time, but all year round as well. I'm here to tell you that despite all the worries that happens in the build-up to Christmas, don't forget that Christmas is about fun and celebration and magic. And please rest assured, this is going to be the most wonderful, magical Christmas for all of us.
Santa, I can see you've got your milk there and your mince pies ready. It's a big time of year for you. How are preparations going? Of course, we are now only a few weeks away from the big day.
If I can ask for some help from some of your listeners, especially the children out there. You see, I do love some mince pies, cookies, candy canes, chocolate as well. If you could leave any of those for me on Christmas Eve, and if it's not too much trouble, if you could also leave some carrots for my reindeer. You see, the more carrots the reindeer eat, the higher they fly, and the faster they go, which means we can deliver all the presents even more efficiently on Christmas Eve for you all.
We're really looking forward to a little bit of that Christmas magic in my household this Christmas. My little boy Theodore, he's 3 now, and
I know he is. He was 2 last year. How is he, by the way?
Very well, thank you. Very excited.
Hi, Theodore.
And here at Chaos too. Chaos is community helping all of society. So we love to give a little bit back to the community, as do you.
Yes, indeed. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you for all your hard work and all the things you've been doing for your community. It's for this reason that you're on the nice list. And everyone at Chaos as well.
Santa, thank you so much for your time. I know you're very busy. I'll let you get back to it now.
Before I go, I just want to wish all your listeners a very Merry Christmas, one and all. And I'm here to tell you that 2026 is going to be a happy, prosperous new year for each and every one of us. Merry Christmas, everyone.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, this festive season, Make-A-Wish UK is reminding the nation that the true magic of Christmas lies not in the gifts we receive, but in the kindness, generosity and hope that we share. A new survey reveals that the spirit of giving is alive and well, with 25% of Brits feeling more generous at Christmas time. Jason Suckley, Chief Executive at Make-A-Wish UK, join me to discuss the findings and share how granted wishes make a difference to children and their families this Christmas.
NEWSWAVE.
Jason, what does the data reveal about the nation's spirits this year?
Yeah, I mean, it says that despite the cost of living pressures that we're all facing, the British public remains generous to those causes they can connect with. So, for instance, 71% of us will be making the effort to support charities that we care about this Christmas. And, you know, I think that's time and again the British public has shown its generosity. In our case, I think it's important for families to consider those families who are facing some of the most difficult challenges you can imagine, in particular, in terms of the families we work with, having a child who's potentially got a life-threatening condition. But it's really heartening to see that people, despite their own pressures, are prepared to support families across the country.
And especially important at this time of year. Can you just give me a flavour of your mission at Make-A-Wish and the things that you do to change so many lives?
Yeah, thanks. So our mission is to grant the wishes of children with critical illnesses. And we know when we do, it does have a life-changing and a lifelong impact. You know, children come to us with a whole variety of different wishes. And one of the most common underlying motivations for a child is actually to spend quality time with their family, their loved ones, you know, irrespective of how long they've got left in their lives. So some children come to us right towards the end of their lives. Some children come to us with a life-threatening condition, which, God willing, they will survive and they will work through and have a long and happy life. But either way, we can create memories that, you know, are incredibly valuable to them and to their families, irrespective of how long they've got left.
And isn't it so heartwarming that I'll give you an example here in Cornwall. Mm-hmm. We have one of the highest level percentages of volunteers, and there are so many fundraisers in the area. Isn't it refreshing that people still can find the time and the desire, and there's always this will to support others, despite some of the challenges that you mentioned in that very first answer that you gave?
This is the sort of news that doesn't reach the news. You know, this goes on all the time across the country, and you know, we've got, you know, hundreds of volunteers who, you know, sometimes will spend, you know, a big proportion of their week supporting children and families, and likewise with people fundraising across the country. You know, I think given how much division there is in our society, we've still got the capacity and the capability to come together behind something we believe in. And when we do, it's just an awesome thing to be part of.
Can you just share an example of a wish that's captured the magic of Christmas at Make-A-Wish?
Absolutely, yeah. So recently we granted the wish of Charlie. He's 6 years old. Unfortunately, his prognosis is no more than 6 months. He's what we call a rush wish. We have about 25 children a month come to us who are reaching the end of their lives per month, that is. His wish was to be a magician for the day, and he trained to be a magician, and he did a show, and in the audience was his brother and his parents. And I always think there's a moment in any wish where you just see the power of it. And in this case, it was just his face when he was performing on the stage, and the faces of the people looking on, in particular the faces of his parents. And you know, at that moment, a lifelong memory has been born. You know, Christmas should be about magic. You know, we can all think of times, memories of Christmases gone by when we've got magical memories, and wishes bring the magic back. It's so important that every child has a magical time of the year at Christmas, and yet some of these children are facing all sorts of challenges that you can barely imagine. So it's a wonderful opportunity to bring magic back to children this Christmas through granting their wishes.
Jason, it is incredible what yourself and the team do. So thank you on behalf of all of the families that you've touched so positively. How can we go about helping grant more children's wishes? Yeah,
thanks. So to give you some numbers, we'll grant about 1,400 wishes this year. However, there will be about 8,000 children diagnosed with an eligible condition, i.e. a critical illness, at the same time. So for every Charlie, there's probably 5 or 6 other children whose wishes we're not able to grant, and that's really largely about money. It is also about things like people volunteering. But what I'd say is, if your listeners are interested in supporting and we'd be very grateful if they could. They just go to our website, makeawish.org.uk, and they'll be able to donate and also find out about volunteering opportunities online. Coming back to Charlie's wish, that him and his family have had that opportunity. What about those kids who are also facing the end of their lives, but they don't get that opportunity? Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about the wishes that we grant, but it's the wishes that we don't grant that really drive me. And that's the sort of thing which, we can all make a difference to these things. It's not a hopeless situation. That's the sort of thing I encourage us all to think about and bring back the magic for children this Christmas via their wishes.
Excellent. If you could just remind our listeners, Jason, where they can find out more information and how they can contact you to get involved and share the wonderful work you do.
Please go to the website, which is makeawish.org.uk.
NEWSWAVE.
Last but by no means least this week, pantomime season is back at the Hall for Cornwall, and their latest production, Aladdin, is packed full of laughs, pasties and just a little twerking. Here to share their thoughts are reviewers Katie Windsor and Tia Bodie.
NEWSWAVE.
This year, Hall for Cornwall brings a delightfully chaotic, Cornish-infused spin on the classic tale Aladdin. The pantomime has kicked off its run of shows for the festive period, running from the 5th of December to the 3rd of January.
We headed to Truro for an evening of confetti and contagious laughter to follow some wacky characters on a journey of love, twerking, and a hell of a lot of pasties.
Flying over from his previous work in West End shows like Billy Elliot, director Nick Evans has brought the same high-level production style to the Truro stage.
This childhood classic whisks audiences away on a magic carpet ride from Kerno Town to a hidden cave, filled with gold and an enchanted lamp. Along the way, through land, sky and sea, Aladdin and Jasmine find love in crisis, amongst the chaos of Widow Twerky's plan to pay back her debts to Jasmine's debt collector mother, Abazana. And of course, with a little helping hand from a spirit, the team get their wishes granted by the genie in the final act. The show is packed with enough innuendos and pasty references to be an easy crowd pleaser for all ages.
Just be prepared to see up to 38 pasties on the stage throughout the production. The show is stacked full of smart reworks of popular modern bangers such as Lady Gaga's Abracadabra
and Chapel Rowan's Hot to Go.
The classic panto 12 Days of Christmas routine that takes on a lively Cornish spin had everyone up on their feet, including us. Cornish flags are pulled out of a box, the characters take part in a saffron bun ring toss, and the audience is sprayed with super soakers.
We even saw one mum be accused of using their toddler as a human shield by Twerky, who at one point reached over to dry their face with granny pants.
After the final bow, we escaped out of the genie's lamp and had a much-needed debrief about the show.
So Tia, what did you think?
I thought the comedy was really great, especially all of the physical comedy in the costumes. There's one part where Widow Twerky comes onto the stage in basically a juicy tracksuit. She was also wearing a really bad platinum blonde wig with a pink cowboy hat. But it was so funny. I do feel like Jasmine and Aladdin's love story did kind of fall into the background though. They were really strong vocal performers, don't get me wrong. But the script clearly favoured the comedic duo.
I'm kind of similar. I feel like especially a lot of the costume played a big part in making certain characters stand out and be so funny with audiences. Willie's obsession with pasties was obviously a big thing in the play, especially in the first act when they brought on this guy called Warren the Pasty who they ended up eating. I was very confused, but it made me die of laughter.
Did you have a favourite scene?
To me, the bit I was the most impressed with was probably the illusion of the flying carpet scene. I just thought it was really clever how they did it, and I've never seen anything like it before. Normally, I've just seen it that they were just held on by strings, but it literally, especially from far away, it would have seemed like he was actually flying through the air.
Mine was probably the opening scene where they performed to Lady Gaga's Abracadabra. I do feel like I'm very biased. I absolutely love that song. Jevon Howard-Jones choreographed the whole pantomime, and I feel like for me, I have never felt like choreography has stood out in a pantomime before, and I really felt that with this show. But enough about our opinions. We spoke to some audience members after the show.
Yeah, it's a brilliant show. Really enjoying it. Very funny, good songs, fantastic.
Just relates to Cornwall, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The dancing, everything, and just the humour in it.
It was amazing. It was so good.
In the end, though, we thought it was a joyful, clever, and actually really funny pantomime.
I left wishing I could watch it again next year, which may be the highest praise a panto can get.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to Andy and Nathan from St Austell Community Fire Station, to Esther Baker from White River Community Church, Tamara Sherston-Baker of the Cornwall Community Foundation, to Father Christmas himself no less, to Make-A-Wish Chief Executive Jason Suckley, and to Katie Windsor and Tia Bodie from Falmouth University for their excellent review of this year's Haw for Cornwall pantomime performance, Aladdin. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you have a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. That's it, you're up to date here on Chaos. I'm Tom Howe. Thank you so much for listening. Whatever it is that you're doing in your community this week, be sure to add a little chaos.
NEWSWAVE.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.